Buckeye Talk with game time decisions for Ohio State's game at Northwestern on Saturday. I'm Nathan Baird along with Stephen Means. These are the crucial elements that will decide this Big Ten game. Supposed to be rainy, supposed to be sludgy, supposed to be windy, supposed to be a pretty bad football game. Stephen, what's your game time decision?
Yeah, this game's gonna stink. I'm focused on some defensive rotations at on the We kind of know what it is at linebacker at this point. Steel Chambers and Tommy Eichenberg are going to play every relevant snap we can think of, but at corner and on the defensive line, especially on the edge at this point, Larry Johnson likes to play guys fresh. I get that, but we're 8 games into the season now, and we kind of know who Ohio State's best defensive linemen are, and especially in the second half, everybody under the sun is going to play. If I put on a jersey, I could probably play. But in the first half, when you're still working some things out and you're still playing your main guys, I am interested to see what that rotation looks like. How much do we see Jack Sawyer in the Jack versus just playing defensive end? Period. It's Jack. Oh, Zach Harrison and JT Tuimoloau are clearly their best two defensive ends, and Jack Sawyer's third. How much reps? How much time do we see those guys get out there, and then how much do we see maybe Javonte Jean Baptiste rolling into that as well in comparison to maybe some other guys? But then also at corner, we've talked about what if Jordan Hancock can start to steal somebody's job. Do we see even more extended time from him this week than what we saw against Penn State, where I know he played a lot of snaps, but a lot of that came late on that final when it was very clear that Penn State was going to have to throw the ball, which kind of told us who Ohio State's best cover guys were, if Denzel Burke and Jordan Hancock were the guys out there. So I do want to see if we do continue to see an increase in snaps for him, regardless of whether Cameron Brown plays or not.
Yeah, I'm not even sure I would characterize it right now as Jordan Hancock stealing somebody's job just because Brown is hurt. The one game he
Yeah.
did play in the last several weeks was kind of rough for him. J.K. Johnson has been moved up into that spot, but I don't think they thought of him in the same way they thought of those top three guys. I think it is almost Jordan Hancock's job if he's able to go take it, and that's why they've been ramping him up. So we'll see. I don't know if it happens this week, but I think you're right. It's progressing towards that. On the other side of the ball, like we said, this is going to be potentially a kind of a mud bath on Saturday. Trevin Henderson has not been as involved in the passing game as much as we thought he would this season. He has one reception in each of the last 3 games. 2 of them have gone for negative yards. I think Ohio State comes into this game wanting to establish the running game, kind of get a force going with the running game again after 2 weeks where that's been a big criticism. But I also think it realizes it maybe needs to get Trevin Henderson the ball in space a little bit more. He's not reading that well at times in the run game right now, which is something he has to work on. But he is a weapon out there. We saw it really from the first game of his career last year up at Minnesota. I think there's going to be a concerted effort to maybe get the screen game going a little bit more. Maybe we see him get the ball a little bit more out of the passing game in this game, because I don't know if the downfield passing game is going to be there as much, more because of the wind and the rain. And Ohio State still wants to get some yardage in that way. And it's also an extension of the run game. If things are kind of sloppy up front and they need to break things open, maybe they try to get Henderson the ball out there. And I think that's something that they're going to want to have in their arsenal more than they've used it so far, to keep getting him out in space when they play some games down the line that are going to be a little less of a blowout than this one's going to be, obviously. Come back to cleveland.com/OSU on Saturday, pregame, during the game, after the game. Get the texts, 614-350-3315. We'll be sending you updates. How does Mayan Williams look before the game? How do other guys look? Is Cam Brown playing? That sort of thing. You can be getting them on text first. And then obviously come to Buckeye Talk for the post-game pod after the game and for all 6 episodes all week.